States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Thank y'all. Welcome to the town board. The business of the town will be conducted tonight. Those having business will be heard, including those that are just a few short of words there. No question about who he belongs to. With that being said, I'm going to turn the room over to the Honorable Sarah Bell Fulford Rhodes to administer the oath of office to Commissioner Shackelford, Dr. Hobbs, and myself. You want me first?
Whoever would like me first.
I'm going to go first.
All right. Thank you. We'll come up and help. Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand.
There we go.
You got it. Do you, John Moore, solemnly swear that you will support and maintain the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the constitutional laws of North Carolina not inconsistent therewith, and then you will all respects observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the town of Farmville, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as mayor of the town of Farmville, so help you God?
I do.
Let me be one of the first to congratulate you, sir. Thank you.
Did you shake the nice lady?
Thank
See y'all. Thank y'all for allowing me to do that. Thank you so
Maybe
much.
where she signed that up, pick it back
I'll
up.
do it.
Left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Do you, Alma Cobb, solemnly swear that you will support and maintain the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the constitutional laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and you will in all respects observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the town of Farmville, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as a commissioner of the town of Farmville, so help you God? All right, let me be one of the first to congratulate you. Mr. Shackelford. She's done this a time or two. Right here. One of these. If you'll put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right.
Raise your right.
All right.
Is this right?
That's gone. If you raise that right hand. All right, here it goes. All right, do you, David L. Shackelford, solemnly swear that you will support and maintain the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the constitutional laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and you will in all respects observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the town of Farmville, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as commissioner for the town of Farmville, so help you God? All right, let me be the first to congratulate you.
Good job.
Thank you all for having me.
I'll let you get those and then we'll proceed. First thing we're going to do tonight is the election of the Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a motion made for the Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, I guess we're going to do like we've always done and first highest votes, and I think that is Commissioner Shackelford. So I make a motion that we appoint Commissioner Shackelford Mayor Pro Tem.
Normally, we just get the motion, And we do not require a second, but this particular time, I'm going to ask for a second. Can I get a second?
I second the motion.
I have a second. Commissioner Shackelford has been nominated and it has been seconded that he become the Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. We come a long way from Main Street, haven't we? David and I have been friends since we both had part-time jobs on Main Street, Farmville, so this is quite an opportunity. Time now for citizens' presentation. I did not get a list. Are there any citizen presentation, Amy? None at all. There will be an opportunity at the end of our meeting for citizen comments of anything you hear and you may need further explanation on. We'll be glad to do that. Commissioners, it is time now for the town manager's comment. David?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the board, just have a couple brief comments. I've been reporting on the town website the last several meetings. That project is thankfully winding down. Just to refresh your memory, Electricities gave the town a grant some time ago to develop a new website for the town, update and develop a new website. It is almost complete. Brian Spear and I have been working with them for some time. And we have a meeting, a demo with the consultants on Wednesday where they're going to go through and show us all the new features and everything and go through the content. And so we are looking at, if everything goes well, it should go live by the end of December. Wanted to also announce, it's been publicized, but I wanted to make sure you were aware and the public's aware that Pitt County Commissioners are holding a community input session in Farmville. They've had 5, or this will be the 5th one, I believe, around the county. They're meeting at the library. Some of the early indications were that it was in this room. It's actually at the Farmville Public Library tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And the purpose is, as you recall, each community got American Rescue Plan funding, including Farmville. Pitt County got obviously a lot more than we did because it's based on population. And the commissioners are going around the county and trying to get input from the public on how the public might like them to consider spending the money. So I did check with the staff. They did come up with some ideas. However, the commissioners didn't want those presented at this point and wanted to sort of leave it as a blank slate. So it's open to the public and it's a public input session. So they're looking for comments from any of you and the residents of the county tomorrow night, and they will take those comments into consideration in determining how they're going to spend all or part of their money. So that's tomorrow night at the library at 6 o'clock. The third item I just wanted to mention, just some upcoming events. Christmas parade this coming Saturday, the 11th at 10:30. The day of prayer is this Saturday, December 11th from 6 to 7 at the gazebo. And there's Farmville's Parade of Lights. I think I'm using the right term, Brenda.
That's fine, yes, sir.
December 11th, 6:30 to 9:30, and that's the event or the thing where you get put on a list and you folks go around and look at Christmas lights on their own by car. And then the Main Museum is having their annual Christmas tea on Sunday, December 12th. From 4 to 6:30 p.m. and I understand they are asking that you RSVP for that event if you know you're coming. That's all I had. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions of the town manager? Seeing none, we'll move down to the financial report board. That is in your book. Anybody have any questions of Amy or David on that? Any questions? We are good with that. Changes, additions, deletions to the agenda. Anybody have anything they'd like to add or take off? Seeing none, is there a motion we accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Okay, Commissioner Smith has made a motion we accept the agenda as is. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Public hearing. Justin, you got this, or is that Paul?
It's Mike Barnett.
You got it? Oh, Mike, okay. This is a public hearing. Sorry about that. I went through the lineup to get everybody. So everybody will have a chance to speak on this. It is concerning the infrastructure base and 5 sanitary sewer improvements. So Mike, room is yours, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I understand you were slightly distracted when I walked in.
I thought it was Santa Claus, sir.
The town received a CDBGI sewer replacement program from the Division of Water Infrastructure back on June 17, 2019. Construction of that program is now complete. Pursuant to your citizen participation policy, you've got to conduct a closeout public hearing at project completion. The lines were replaced on Cotton Street, Moore Street, George Street, Zeno Street, and Walnut Street. The program expended $1,559,797.95 of CDBGI funds, and no local funds were used for the project. In your notes, it had you were going to need a final budget ordinance. However, the expenditures were within the existing budget ordinance line items that was originally adopted, and the finance officer has the authority to make those changes, so you won't need any budget changes. We've given you a project map just for your reference, and we're requesting that you receive public comment number 1 and number 2 so that we can go ahead and get the closeout paperwork to Raleigh. Authorize the mayor to approve the minutes of the public hearing. So to receive public comment and authorize the mayor to approve the minutes when they're prepared.
Okay. This is a public hearing. All those wishing to be heard, this is your opportunity. You do not have to sign up. Anyone wishing to speak? Anyone wishing to speak? Seeing none. Board, do you have any questions of Mike? Any questions of Mike? Town manager, do you have any input you'd like to add to this before I call for a motion?
No, sir.
Okay. Public hearing is closed. No questions, comments, or criticisms. Is there a motion that we move forward with the infrastructure proposal with the CDBG grant? Also, that I sign this and get it to where it needs to go as soon as possible.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a motion. It was a great project, and I make a motion we authorize you to approve the minutes of the public hearing from tonight. Close out the project.
Board, you've heard the motion. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Mike and Amy, I'll be able to sign this in the morning at 9:30 if it's prepared. Okay? When you got it, I got it. Because this was fantastic, and I truly appreciate what you folks do for us. Thank you a lot. Items for consent, minutes and appointment to the Dogwood Committee. Is there a motion that we accept the items for consent?
I can't believe we're not going to have a discussion about this nominee to this committee.
I would question his background and his references, but in the sake of time, what do you say?
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Dixon has made a motion that we approve the consent items. Any questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We thank Donnie for doing it. I think he's been on that committee forever and a day. That brings us down for items of decision. Subdivision, cottages on Wilson Street. And Randy, I think you want to talk to us first, or you want David to talk first? Who wants to go first? Justin, you want to go first? Come on, everybody gonna get a chance.
Evening, board. I will still Randy's thunder here. Just wanted to give you a brief overview, then I'll let him talk a little more detail about the project. But the item before you this evening, this is a request to approve subdivision plat for what would be known as the cottages on Wilson Street. Final approval by the Board of Commissioners is needed in order for us to record the final plat. And so just to give a couple of quick observations of the project. Subject properties are zoned R5 currently, which do allow for single-family residences. Average lot size is just over 6,800 square feet, the largest lot being 7,200 square feet, the smallest being just over 6,600 square feet. All the lots meet the required lot dimensions that are established by the town zoning ordinance. The developers have already established covenants for an HOA, and Randy will speak on those, I feel like, here in just a few minutes. The developer, one thing I did want to note to you all, that we have coordinated with the developer, and he has coordinated with DOT as well regarding driveway permits. Being along Wilson Street, with that being an NCDOT maintained roadway, we do have to, the developer does have to request driveway permits. Because the property at this point is still in the process of changing hands, DOT cannot officially grant the driveway permits until all the transactions on the property have closed. However, in talking with them, the exchange or the closing of the property should be done this Thursday. We've already coordinated the developer, ourselves, DOT, and have reached an agreed upon design for the driveways. The DOT is just waiting for everything else to finalize, and then the developer can then get the permits, get them to us. So we wanted to go ahead and bring this, instead of holding it up for another month, go ahead and bring it to the board tonight, contingent on the driveway permits being issued by DOT. We've had the utilities director take a look, review. There have been no issues hooking up with the town's current water, sewer, or electric service, and there are no new streets or street names that have been proposed. Therefore, there are no potential duplicates or similar street names. I'll take any questions if you have them this time. Also, Mr. Randolph, if you'd like to talk to the board a little bit about it, you're welcome to as well.
Anybody have any questions of Justin?
Yes, sir.
Randy? Yes, sir. Thank you.
I don't know if y'all have seen this map with the driveway cuts. If you have, fine. If not,
I think that's what we have in our
Okay.
pamphlet, sir.
I'll briefly show you some designs that I have. Actually, I've been working on this since 2000. I saw something that I liked, and so I just took a product and just put it in a file, and I said, one day I will hope to build this. So this is where we are. And these are some of the floor plans, elevations. This could be 6 total lots, y'all know that. All of them will have outside storage, the garage. And I will go over some of the covenants, and I think the neighborhood is only as good as the covenants. And it will be an HOA. And this is a covenant. This is what I did in Poplar Grove, and I'm going to incorporate this, what I did in Poplar Grove, with this government. This is just a sort of a snapshot. All shingles, the color barry black. I brought my glasses. All front porches, top and bottom railings will with pickets. So all the railings will have pickets. Only 2 colors for the front doors. Top railing on front porch, painted sable or black. All stone doors, single light Larson white. So just one type of stone door. Siding will be 3 siding choices. All front porches, the ceilings will be painted Hank blue, which is a blue like you go see a historical area. You see the blue ceilings, and they call it Hank blue. All mailboxes will be the same. All windows white with same grill pattern. No parking on grass. No wooden fences. White, 4 foot tall, PVC only. Landscaping, no rock, black or brown, and pine mulch. All front porches will have an American flag. Front yards will have a dusk to dawn lanterns. 1 tree per lot, which I will provide. All lots must remove all temporary objects, toys, lawnmowers, etc., dusk to dawn. So like I said, we don't have garages, but we will have outside storages. So when you ride by there, you won't see toys and stuff in the front yard, lawnmowers, etc. So it's going to be a pretty tight, restricted covenant subdivision. It probably won't be for everybody, and that's fine. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions of Randy?
Would there be a board for the HOA?
Yes, there will. I will start it out. Like I said, Steve, when it's my turn, he's going to set up the HOA. Be in perpetuity. I'm not still keep going. The covenants will be recorded in the courthouse.
Anybody have any more questions? Thanks for coming by, sharing that with us.
Me. I'm excited about it.
Thank you. It's recommended that we approve the subdivision plat for the cottages on Wilson Street subdivision. You've heard Randy, you've heard Justin. Are there any more questions or comments or motion?
Mr. Mayor, I had been working with Randy some on this, and just due to a conflict of interest, would like permission to abstain from comment and vote.
Is there a motion?
I move that we allow him to abstain from this next vote.
You've heard the motion by Commissioner Hobbs. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, you are excused. Now, is there a motion to accept the subdivision plat for the cottages on Wilson Street subdivision?
I'll make a motion that we accept the subdivision plat for the cottages on Wilson Street as presented.
Folks, you've heard the motion. Any questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations on that. We're excited about that. It's going to be really, really good. It brings us down to item number 7. Update the fire department headquarters. There's a representative from Davis King here. Is that all right?
Behind you.
Yeah, here we go. Welcome.
Farmville's fire station. We want to go grab somebody else's fire station, bring it here, we'll make it home to Farmville as we replace it with the new fire station headquarters. Then we walked over to the site, looked at the existing conditions of the site, took geotech reports to understand what was below grade, and then kind of come up with ideas of what we could put on this site regarding the fire station. Met with the fire department, went through their program requirements, came up with a list of spaces and sizes that they wanted for the property. And then we started looking at what is this station going to start looking like as we put those adjacencies into a building laid out in a way that it's all about response, getting the firefighters out in 60 seconds or less to respond to those emergencies. Then we started looking at, in consideration of that response, how does this station sit on the site? What would be the best approach for not only apparatus and fire trucks, but also the public access, public parking, and the firefighter parking? We continued to develop those site plans. Ended up landing on the one to the right, being the most efficient use of the site and the quickest for responding to emergencies. Then we continued to develop that a little further, adding stormwater, paving Library Street, adding parking, providing public parking at the front of the station, firefighter parking at the rear of the station, and then a clear access for all the apparatus, the fire trucks. Started adding landscape based on the UDO requirements for the site, also looking at how we can separate that from the adjacent residential. We're at 60% CD, so we're almost at the end of construction documents where we have a final review with the fire and the town, and then we move forward with bidding the project. Questions about the layout so far?
I do. I have a big concern because of the neighbors that are next to it. When the trucks come into the property, are they going to swing? Are the lights going to swing onto these homes that are right there? I mean, I'm trying to make sure that they're not blinded in their beds in the middle of the night.
Understood. The current, in talking to the fire department, the current way that they're going to respond is out the back, or onto Library Street. So they're going to hit the lights, come down Library Street, hit Horn, and then hit 258 or go down to.
Okay.
So when they return, they won't have the lights on.
Okay. What is Library Street? Is that the street that runs in front of between that and the National Guard Armory?
Wish I had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when they come back in the station, there will be no lights that will hit those swinging into the bays?
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah, when they come back, they won't have the lights on for returning to the station.
right.
When they're responding, they'll be pulling out the back towards the armory.
Okay,
Hit the
that's-
lights as soon as they hit Orange Street. And that's logistics too. That's something they can discuss with the neighbors and determine
Okay.
which is best.
Okay,
The safest for them to respond so that the traffic knows that they're exiting and responding to an emergency while also being good neighbors. But we're also providing some fencing in between the fire station and the adjacent neighbors to kind of help with that too.
perfect, thank you.
The idea of the location of that, you see that tower element, so that is a prominent entrance to the station. And we placed it here at this corner of the site so you can see it from both sides of the road. So we wanted it to be kind of an iconic tower element that responds to everybody pulling through and give you something to be proud of that you can be seen as you're pulling in the Farmville or leaving. I'll show you some renderings of what we think that should look like. Here's the floor plan that we worked out. We've been through several iterations to get this as condensed as possible, as few square feet, while providing everything the fire department needs. So you have the main front entry there. You have a community space, which I'll get into here in a little bit, with some rendered or some colored plans. Here's the finished board. So this is the palette that would be the interior of the space, which includes carpet, paint, rubber base, floor finishes. We're looking at a kind of warm wood color, some off-white paint, some greens and burgundies. We're trying to have a nice warm palette. It's going to be their home too, when they're staying at the station overnight. So it's kind of their home away from home, so we don't want to look too institutional. So the station is broken up into 4 areas. One being administrative, which are the offices, which is the headquarters portion of it for the fire department. Another is the community-owned meeting spaces. So we have a training room. It's also a community room. We have bathrooms that accommodate that space. We have a main lobby, which will also be their museum space to put up some of the artifacts they've collected over the years. And we have a fitness room and a conference room. We also have the living quarters portion of the fire station, which will be where the firefighters spend the majority of their time, whether it's in the day room, in the kitchen, or in the dorm rooms at night, sleeping, and then all the apparatus equipment. So we've separated these things into 4 separate identifiable areas of the fire station. It's also, as mentioned, about response. So we've tried to provide clear pathways from every portion of this station, straight to the apparatus bays, to the apparatus trucks, and the equipment, so they can respond to an emergency. Next thing, as I mentioned before, onto ladders. These are just a few pictures that we took as we went to the existing station. Some of the items that will be displayed in the museum area that will be open to the community. One of the things that's really important to me is firefighter safety. So my grandfather was a 30-year firefighter for the city of Goldsboro. One thing we didn't know back when he was a firefighter is that firefighters have a 300% more likely chance of getting cancer because when fighting a fire, they're exposure to carcinogens. He ended up dying of prostate cancer, which is one of the key killers for firefighters. So it's all about making safe fire stations for me. One of the ways we do that is we separate what's being called now the hot zone and the cold zone. So the hot zone has all the carcinogens, all the hazardous materials when they come back from a fire. They have it on their PPE, they have it on the trucks, they have to basically decontaminate those things. They don't want to bring that into the living quarters. So we have transition zones. So we provided that level of safety as part of this fire station. Make sure that we can make them as safe as possible, keep those carcinogens in the bay where they can be decontaminated, provide these airlocks and these transition zones. Regarding project funding, there'll be a combination of fundraising, donations, USDA RD grants, and in the town of Farmville. This is a rendering of what we propose the fire station to look like. So looking across 258, that's that tower element that I was talking about before. As I mentioned, we're currently in the end of construction documents. We can take those in the first part of next year.
Okay, I'm gonna ask one more question.
Yes, ma'am, no problem.
Okay, look, I see where the fire truck is.
Yes, that's,
Okay, and they'll come in off the side.
Right.
They'll come in off the side. My concern is not necessarily flashing lights when they're coming back, but when they come in and they swing around, because those are big trucks, the headlights, I want to make sure that we're good neighbors to the neighbors and not flood their homes with massive 4 or 5 trucks coming through.
Headlights.
Is what you all proposed with the fencing and everything, is that going to help stop that?
so the fencing is going to be a composite polycarbonate fencing that's 6 feet tall.
Okay,
So what happens is the lights are below 6 feet. So what happens, the lights will hit the fence. So you won't
Okay.
get direct beam light getting into what we call light pollution, getting over into the adjacent.
okay, 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 thank you.
Yeah. That was the end of the presentation, so I don't know.
I mean, there's also landscaping along that area.
That's right.
Pretty heavy landscaping
That's
between
right.
the residential and the student.
Yeah, if I can go back to the site. just- This is, there's no existing landscaping, but we're also going to provide, this is a rendering just to kind of, so you can see the station, see the adjacent spaces. We're not only providing the fencing along there to separate these two spaces, but we also providing some shrubbery. What we call security vegetation, keeping.
Jimmy, I got one question for David. David, I don't have my plan in front of me, but does this guarantee that nothing happens on the other side of that property line, which is Mr. Davenport's? None of this encroaches on that in any way. There's no reason for any, I'll make it perfectly clear, there's no reason for anything that's connected to the fire department to cross that property line.
That's correct, and the paving of that library street ends before Mr. Davenport's
Okay,
line. anyway.
that's paving will end there. Okay, good, thanks, sir.
How far does your fence go, Jimmy? Does it start up at the street and run all the way over to Library Street?
And it'll end up running, the way we have it currently proposed, it'll run all the way across the back. Because what I'm not showing is the other portion, that kind of, the property that comes off and comes up. So we're adding a little bit of a water hazard there for the golfers on the backside there with the stormwater infrastructure. But the idea was basically to sort of divert people from coming into this area. What we don't want is pedestrian crossing with fire trucks and vehicles. Kind of avoid that.
So you say that it's going to virtually be impossible for somebody to walk from that residence into the golf course over there?
Right. Now, at the backside of it, it'll be the water, the stormwater infrastructure. So they won't have a fence on the backside separating that from the fire, the golf course. Pretty our current proposed for what we ought to say.
Anybody else got any questions? Jim, thanks. David, closing comments on this?
Just, we're on schedule, so as said, the construction document phase is the beginning of the calendar year. Should be wrapped up by then.
Should be wrapped up, we're trying to wrap it up by the end of the year. We'll have a little tweaks there at that first week of January.
All right, anybody have anything?
I'd like to say thanks to Jimmy. I know he's done a lot of work, put in a lot of time on this, but he's really good at what he does, and thank you very much for your efforts.
All right, thank you, sir. That'll move us down to agenda item number 8, to personnel policy amendment. David?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the board. We have, and some of you were on the board at the time, some of you were not, but back in 2015, there was a pay and classification study that was commissioned by this board as a result of our pay plan for employees being very out of date. We have done a few tweaks since that time internally, but we've not done any sort of comprehensive update. The market is such that you all know it's harder to get employees. It's hard for us to retain employees that we do have. We are starting to lose a few here and there, and we're having trouble recruiting, as are many other employers. And so,
Are you on item 8 or 9?
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have my glasses on. That's okay. Sorry, that's 9. I apologize. Strike that. Okay, 8 is a less involved item. Back in the last session of the General Assembly, the General Assembly, among other things, made some changes, one being to the North Carolina local government employees retirement system. Previously, our policy was that a new employee, unless he or she transferred in from another local government in North Carolina or state government job, they had to wait 6 months before they were actually added to the retirement system. That was during their probationary period, which all employees still have to go through. The law changed with the last session of General Assembly, that basically now you can't have that waiting period. You basically, on day 1, you have to be added to the retirement system. And so in your packet, there is the current language in our policy, just highlighted in yellow, and and also the actual information from the retirement system notifying us of this change. So we're asking that the board to adopt this amendment to the town's personnel policy to be in line or consistent with the new change to the state law.
Anybody got questions of David? Any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the personnel policy amendment.
Board, you've heard the motion by Commissioner Dixon. Any discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. David, keep on. You're on number 9 now.
Okay. I won't rehash everything, but basically, it's time to do an update of our pay and classification plan. We got a proposal from through the League of Municipalities. They have a vendor, the MAPS group, that does these all over the state. They actually have done one for Farmville years ago. They were not the vendor that we used the last time back in 2015. We do have a proposal from them or from the league. They would do a market analysis. They look at all of our positions, update our pay and update our pay system based on survey of other employers that we compete with. They look at all of our positions and survey our employees to make sure that they have adequate job descriptions that reflect what they're actually doing versus what they may have previously in older versions of their job. And also develop a market analysis and update our personnel policy. So I am asking the board to authorize this. There will be no outlay of funds this fiscal year. So it's not something that we have to add to the budget. We can add it to the next year's budget if you approve it. And we can get in line or get in their line or on their schedule. And in the meantime, if we do need to make some spot adjustments, which I've talked to the mayor about some items that we would probably want to look at, some areas we want to look at, that we can do that internally as we're waiting for the comprehensive study, which is proposed in your packet.
Questions of David? Seeing none? So you're asking the board to go ahead and say, find us somebody to do this and pay this and get it back to us? Is that the way I'm understanding this?
Yes, sir. This is the proposal I'd like you to approve. That way we can get on their schedule because they're several months out. And we need to get in their queue because other people are having these same studies done because everybody's facing the same problem. The market is tough and we're having trouble finding employees in a lot of positions. Just doing a quick count, we've now got, as best I can tell, we've got almost 10 positions, 9.5 positions if you count up part-time positions vacant right now.
And you're looking at a cost of $14,920, is that right?
Yes, sir. And again, does not have to be budgeted this year. No outlay would occur until after July 1.
And explain to me what the connection is between the MAPS group and the League of Municipalities?
They are a subcontractor of the League of Municipalities. The League of Municipalities staff, Hartwell Wright, that signed this proposal, he is ultimately responsible to us for the study. They have gone out and they've selected, they do this in a lot of areas, they go out and cull vendors for different services. And in this particular case, the MAPS group is their preferred vendor for municipal studies of this type.
This is a good price?
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot more.
Okay. What's your pleasure, board?
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize Mr. Hodgkins to I don't know the word I want to use here, that we authorize Mr. Hodgkins to contract with the League of Municipalities to do this pay study for us.
Board, you've heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck with that, David.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 10, Board of Commissioners Annual Retreat.
Okay, Mayor, members of the board, it's getting time for us to start planning for your annual retreat. Typically, we hold it in February. It's typically around the middle to the end of the month, February. At this point, we're just asking you to, one, I guess, approve having a retreat, and then going ahead and schedule the dates and the location. And I've suggested just basically keeping it the same as last year. Last year, you met on the 22nd and 23rd of February. If you look at that same Monday and Tuesday thing, it would be the 21st and 22nd, or sometime that week anyway. That way, we're able to react quickly. The next week, you have a regular board meeting. Oftentimes, things come out of that retreat, and we take action fairly quickly. A few things that the board's decided. It also gives us direction on the budget and gets us pointed in a certain direction, so that when Amy and I sit down with the budget, we have some of your primary goals and objectives as far as funding for items for next year. So at this point, we're just trying to schedule it, put a location, maybe talk about if you want to do use the facilitator or not. And then at the next meeting, we would be getting into some of the potential topics and things like that at the January meeting.
We'd used an outside facilitator for years, and it was much needed. The board has changed, complexion of the board has changed. The amount of knowledge and research is done before we go to the retreat has certainly changed a lot. And I'm not too sure that we would need a facilitator based on the job you did last year. I thought you did not. Of course, that's, it's up to board discussion, but I like the way that you facilitated that second day.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying we didn't last year, as the mayor mentioned.
Right.
Due to COVID, we had the facilitator that we had used through Pitt Community College. They were not allowing anyone to do any programs outside programs, so we weren't able to use it. So out of necessity, we didn't. But it went fine as far as I could tell, but it's up to you.
I think it's something we probably just get the board a chance to think about it, but I like the way we did it last year. I like that week in February too, and so board is up for discussion now. I'd like the question here, are you up for the retreat? Are you prepared? Would you like to do it on that Monday, the 21st and 22nd? Is that correct, David?
Yes, sir. That would be the same Monday all day, Tuesday half a day.
And would we do it here because it's convenient and accessible to employees coming and going? So I'll open it up for discussion and motions.
Those dates are great with me. I will make a motion that we do have a retreat, and that our retreat dates be February 21st and 22nd of 2022. There's a lot of twos in that. 2022, and we have the retreat in the courtroom.
Okay, board, you've heard the motion. Any discussion?
I'm just looking on my calendar, and my calendar says that's President's Day. Is that,
It's not a holiday for
okay,
us.
all right. Works for me. I don't get holidays.
Any other discussion on this? You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We will have the retreat on the 21st and 22nd. David will assemble an agenda for that. Go ahead and advise all department heads that I'd like to see. We as a board would like to see them here at a particular time and get their input. Also, David, I'd like to have all the board members, such as the beautification board, the planning board, the chairman of those boards, to be here on the at a given time on any of those 2 days for a 5-minute presentation of what we can expect from their board in the coming year.
Yes, sir.
Good with that? Good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That brings us down to information only. You have that in your packet, and I want to just say one thing. I don't know if it's just me, and if anybody wants to weigh in on this. I am so thankful for the amount of information that we are getting, the flow that's coming from every department. As busy as you are, and Paul, since you and Justin are in my line of sight, as busy as you guys are, you still have an opportunity to send us an incredible update of what's going on. It's almost like we're going step. It's almost like we're with you every second of the day. And you have really done an outstanding job, as well as the other departments. And David, I appreciate your leadership on that. Anybody else like to weigh in on that?
I think everybody's doing a great job.
It's certainly great, is what I'm trying to say, for the amount of information. At this point, we'll move down to item N. Anybody with citizen comments? Anybody have any questions or comments about anything you've heard here tonight, or anything?
Are we gonna do the number 12?
What is number 12?
Or number 11, excuse me, the Town Employee Service Awards?
That's for information. I missed that. I'm sorry, David.
Yes, I was just going to announce who we're getting. Thank you, Commissioner Ellis.
I'm sorry for that.
No problem. Okay, these individuals have received, and we give them out in 5-year increments, so it's only a few. This depends on when your anniversary is, but Tyler Hillard and Anthony Williams and Craig Williams all are 5-year employees in Public Works. Jeffrey Smith, 5-year employee in Police Department. Adam Clark is a 5-year employee in Water and Sewer. Will Dixon and Wes Thomas are 15-year employees in Public Works. And Barbara Coggin is a 20-year employee in the Police Department. So these individuals are specifically recognized on their 15, and 20-year anniversaries, and there is a cash amount awarded as a thank you from the board.
Anybody got a comment on service awards?
I think it's great.
Okay. All right, that brings us down to citizen comments. Anybody have any questions concerning anything you've heard here tonight, may not have understood, or anything we can elaborate on? Okay, seeing no citizen comments, we're going to go to closed session, but before I do that, John Spruill, Sergeant, United States Army, retired, sits on our planning board, still was with us tonight. 31 years ago, he was at Fort Bragg, getting to go to his second war. He went to Vietnam with the 101st Airborne Division and went to the Gulf War with the 691st. And I thank you for what you serve this country and how you serve this town. With that being said, is there a motion to go to closed second in pursuit of North Carolina? Okay. Motion to go to closed session, North Carolina General Statute 143-318, 11A, 6 personnel issue. Is there a motion?
I will make a motion, we go into closed session.
Okay, there's a motion to go into closed session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in closed session. Thank y'all for coming tonight.
No, Farmville is really looking great with all the Christmas decorations, and the town has really done a good job fixing up Main Street. A lot of good comments from the Taste of Farmville that I heard. I think that with the parade and all the other stuff that Brenda has going on, that it's going to be a great Christmas season, and looking forward to going into 2022 with a good retreat and getting a lot more accomplished in the future.
Commissioner Shack.
I think we're doing a super job here in this town of Farmville with our 4,600 residents, and I think people are happy. They act like they're happy, and you know, if we could just stop the leaves from falling for a couple of days, we'll get ahead of this game.
Thank you. And Commissioner Smith, thank you for your 2 years as Mayor Pro Tem. Commissioner Shack, welcome back to the Mayor Pro Tem chair. Commissioner Dixon.
We get the best prayer said at the beginning of this meeting. Paul tonight and the last few we've had, I'm like, these people really put a lot of time and energy into it, and I think it's a neat thing I think you kind of added that, if not kicked it up a notch. Anyway, I like that addition to the meeting. I think about it every meeting we have.
Thanks. Dr. Hobbs.
Well, I want to just thank everybody for providing me another 4 years on this board. I have enjoyed the last 4 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. And I want to wish everyone a happy holiday. It's so much different from last year. I didn't have much Christmas spirit last year, but I am into it now. And I'm looking forward to the 150th anniversary. I think January is going to be a great time to kick that off, and we have a lot to look forward to in Farmville, where all good things happen.
Thank you, ma'am. Brian's back and the cameras are running, so we'll proceed with the last item on our agenda. David, we went in closed session tonight for a very special reason, and that was this board would like to offer you a pay raise. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Elks.
David, we appreciate what you do. We know that you put in a tremendous amount of hours, and at this time, we would like to offer an $8,000 a year pay increase to you. And I would like to make a motion that we proceed with that pay increase.
Board, you've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none? Unanimous. David, thank you for what you do.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate working with all of you. I really thoroughly enjoy it.
Closing comments today, Commissioner Ellis, I want to thank you for what you do for the Christmas parade, because you certainly have moved it to a new level. And I attend several parades, and I'm very proud of the one we do in Farmville. Our parade will start that morning. We have special guests come in town. I hope each and every one of you can make it. And if you got grandchildren in tow, bring them. If you got children in tow, bring them. There's always room. And we'll be downstairs for that. We'll finish up probably 15 or 20 minutes prior to Brenda stepping off the parade, so everybody can get in place with their families. And I'm sure we'll be meeting again. But most of all tonight, I want to thank you for the amount of research and the amount of time you spend being prepared for these board meetings, and the amount of time you spend taking emails and just getting your our homework done, for lack of a better word, as we come to these meetings and be prepared. You know, when you stand on the ladder, it's pretty easy. When you stand there, you can go up, you can go down, or you can stand there and look around. I'll ask that we keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. I thank y'all for coming tonight. Is there a motion we adjourn? All in favor say aye. Aye. This board meeting is adjourned.
Good meeting, John.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That's all in the comments.
And the blue guys.
Ma'am.
Get the memo on the,
How you
Fantastic.
So I said I was flying in here because I had to leave work early.
Also fantastic.
You give them a lot of
There's getting to be a handful. They're starting to think they ain't babies.
Only one.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Congratulations on your pay increase.
Oh.
Take my David picture together.